Hey, it's a light UFO day, but it's filled with lots of doom and gloom if you're on the West Coast. Cue the music. Hey, this is Manny Moonraker, and this is episode number 55 of the UFO Report. And I welcome you guys back, and for those of you listening brand new, welcome to the UFO School of Hard Knocks. Because we don't like rubber dickers, and basically, it's gonna go down if it needs to. So we got two stories to talk about today. The first one is really lighthearted. I mean, it's like, it's a good thing, especially if you're in Kansas City and you've seen things. If you've been looking into the sky and you've been seeing some wacky ass stuff, there's a book that's coming out that might certify for you what you've been seeing. This is a story that's linked to the local television station KMBZ, and it's titled New Book Chronicles UFO Sightings Around Kansas City. So if you're in Kansas City, sit tight, take out your pen and pad and write this down. Because Margie Kay, the Assistant State Director of the Missouri chapter of MUFON, and some people who love cows, they say MUFON, or is that people that like cats say MUFON? Anyway, this Assistant State Director of the Mutual UFO Network is an author of a new book. The book is titled The Kansas City UFO Flaps. And apparently this book has tons of sightings. Most of them happen in eastern Jackson County between 2011 and 2012, just in time for the end of the world. So the article is really nice because it actually goes a step further and defines for us what a UFO flap is, because I don't know if you guys have heard it on other podcasts or listening to people talk about, multiple UFO sightings, and they refer to it as a flap. So according to KMBZ, a flap is a term that describes a sudden grouping of sightings of UFOs in an area and they appear to be related. So these aren't like third cousins from ET 4.2 far flying around. These are all related. These are like brothers and sisters flying around in their UFOs, probing people, taking cattle, all that kind of stuff. So that's what a flap is. And that's what the book is about. It's about that flap between 2011 and 2012. Some of the accounts that you're going to read in this book involve close encounters with strange objects. There's even a photograph in which a small entity that did not appear to be human was caught on camera. Kansas City, you guys thought that you were out of this. You didn't think things are going 4.2 far in your area, but guess what? Apparently, 5 years ago, stuff was getting crazy. One of the things that Margie apparently told this news station was that she's been actively sending out Freedom of Information Acts in order to obtain things like radar information for these particular incidents during this time. Of course, she says, and I quote, "There's never cooperation from the government agencies. We filed a Freedom of Information Act requesting for radar reports, and there's hardly ever a response." I don't think that's a big surprise there, Margie. However, a lot of people, according to this book, have reported seeing multicolored objects that rotate in a counterclockwise spin at very high rates of speed. And according to Margie, the sightings still continue. Part of the reason for this article is that MUFON would like to encourage folks in the area, Jackson County, Kansas City, to report sightings to them. That way they can continue the research. Maybe put out a second book so you can buy it later down the road. But the sightings are still going on. They're not flappish, they're not big flaps. However, there's something that they're seeing and it's consistent enough to where we want to get more information out there. Okay, hey, listen, they had a good idea in trying to get these radar reports, but the thing about radar reports is, number one, they don't belong to the public. Number two, radar reports can basically be adjusted to only report certain speeds, certain altitudes, what have you, certain size targets. So, let's be honest. I'm sure that in most of the radar systems related to airports or municipal airports, a lot of these have already been fixed with parameters that keep things like UFOs from being targets unless they're like either way too big or way too fast or the size of an airplane. Either way, good luck to Margie. And if you're in Kansas City, hit her up. She's at that Missouri chapter. Stop by, give her a holler. Let her know Manny sent you.
Coming to you from the hills of Texas right here. UFO Buster Radio is now on the air. You can visit Manny and Big O at UFOBusterRadio.com. That's right, this is Bubba Doohickey saying, boys, squeal like a pig. Oink, oink, oink.
Alright, so the next story is kind of messed up in a way because this may be foreshadowing some really doom and gloom, severe, crazy madness. Now, we've seen in the last few years that whenever there's some kind of volcano activity in South America, Mexico, Peru, those places down there, that there's always reports before, during, and after an eruption of unidentified flying objects going in and out the volcanoes, flying around it. In other words, doing things that our conventional aircraft are not able to do and not able to get as close to as what we're seeing from these UFOs. Well, if you live by the Yellowstone National Park, you may have to be kissing your ass goodbye here shortly. Apparently there's a video in which a UFO was spotted circling around the supervolcano in Yellowstone. The UFO appeared to be metallic and shiny. And in the video, it darts across the screen. The video was taken June 9th and uploaded to YouTube with the caption, "Impressive UFO near the Yellowstone Volcano." The volcano at Yellowstone is called the Caldera Supervolcano, and according to scientists, this thing last erupted 70,000 years ago. However, in recent years, there's been a spike in seismic activity, and people are getting a bit worked up about it. And now, apparently, UFOs are as well. So here's some interesting facts about this volcano that apparently UFOs are interested in. If the volcano were to erupt, it is estimated that about 87,000 people would lose their lives immediately. And it would make 2/3 of the United States uninhabitable. Some more doom and gloom for you is that the amount of ash that would be kicked out of this supervolcano, and much worse than what you would find on Big O's elbows, would be enough to create a nuclear winter. So they're saying that the eruption from this volcano, the Caldera Supervolcano, would be so massive that it would be 6,000 times more powerful than the eruption at Mount St. Helens. I think it's time to move to Mars. We need to pack it up, or we're going to end up kissing our asses goodbye. But this is a UFO podcast. So the question is, why do we see UFOs around these situations? It's like we're a sideshow for beings from 4.2 far. There are some theories that some of these are actually trying to intervene, especially those that you see in Mexico and South America, where they're buzzing around like crazy. Now, we can't say that these are birds or drones because there's no way that either one of those can do the things that we've seen in those other volcanoes. But there's enough seismic activity here that scientists are looking at this, they're monitoring it, and it looks like maybe somebody else might have interest in it. So I guess we'll see. Only time will tell, right? That's all we can do, just sit around and wait to get blown away. But if you're new to the podcast, don't forget to follow my misadventures on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at UFOBusterRadio.com. And join the Battle Royale on UBR Truth Seekers, the Facebook group. Join the group, bring the shit, and get ready to vote on a rubber dickie. This is Manny Moonraker. I appreciate you guys immensely, but it's time for me to go. Adios.